Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're working on a program to help you with medium to long range financial planning. And we left off, well, basically 2 weeks ago, since I was gone last week. We left off working on persistence. We tried for SwiftData for several episodes and just gave up on it finally and went to a more JSON file-based approach. We got that working like very late at the end of the week, and I want to clean that up basically and get that into a persistence approach we'll like and is clean and everything. I think if we get that done, we'll move on to some editing and try and make it so you can at least delete and hopefully alter existing entries in your information. And well, that'll be enough work, I suspect. Okay, so let's look at persistence. Okay, so let's see, let's just run it. So what we have is an open button and a save button, and I don't know what's left out there, but let's just open. Okay, well, there was something there. Okay, a nice healthy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 salary forever gets us $4 million in 30 years. And that was the existing file for things. And then if you save, let's just add an expense stream just to be realistic. Cost of living type is expense. And I don't know how these things go, but let's make it a little off. Okay. Well, if you lose $1 a year, or $1 a month, you're gonna be out $400 in 30 years. Okay, but right now, if I open again, I'm going to lose that. Okay, because we've just got the one saved version, and making the change here did not affect what was saved. So I'd like to move us more towards a model we discussed last week. We'll save things after each change. Welcome, Mudshark and Eric. Good to see you both again. Miozi, be cautious about Scrum sprints. Okay. We won't get into that too much. We're just doing programming here today, not talking about Agile too much. I don't know if that'll be a relief or the wrong focus for you. But anyway, all right, so we got the open and save buttons. We'll get rid of those, but I think first we'll do some kind of refactoring to make that a better way, get what's going on better. I don't even really remember how we did it at this point. I think it's in ContentView. Is ContentView out there? I think maybe alphabetical, I could find it. Okay, so pretty sure the buttons are here. Oh yeah, there's open and save. Okay, so let's move these, and they're very they're almost free floating, right? They aren't relying on any of the stuff that's in ContentView to do their job. So did I create an IO? Yeah, let's make a separate group. I don't know what to call it. If it's just IO. I don't know. I guess in a way I'm trying to think like a little bit hexagonal kind of thing, or any of these other approaches that go out of their way to separate things. I don't want save on my model objects. I want it to be a separate thing. However, our model objects do implement codable. Yeah, most of them. Because, well, we needed that for SwiftData, but we also need it for writing out JSON with automatic stuff. Now, the choice we're we have, and I'm not sure if it's a good approach or not, but we could even pull Codable out of these and make it an extension, I think. But first, let's get these get these functions out of here and into some other class, I guess. Okay. I don't quite know what to call things. Well, let's make a new file. Persistence. Okay, I guess I should have kept that foundation. Okay, so let's just move these and make sure everything's hanging together. Because this is in our UI, we mostly manually test it, I guess. This should no longer be file private. And at some point we might wrap these into a class. I'm not sure. All right, so let's run that. Oh, and I should edit this. Refactor IO out of ContentView. We'll take that for now. Mutable property will not be decoded. Oh, I think I started to add a version in offline. No. Observation register. Yeah, we get the contents of this macro. Immutable property will not be decoded. People is not immutable. Is it count? That doesn't seem like a right message, does it? I don't know if that's... I know at one point I was like, oh, I should add a version, because when you have a version, you've got a little flexibility, but I'm not sure that's... if it's really complaining about count, that's not... I mean, that's a computed property. There's no value there to override. Let's look at plan. Yeah, those are not constant. Where's the complaint? Scenarios. Well, that really seems like an odd place. Immutable property. Declared with an initial value. Do we have anything that's even declared with an initial value? I don't see it. Oh, maybe it's this one. Yeah, let's try that. It's been sitting around rotting for a week, right? But I think it probably is complaining about the UUID, but we do need it identifiable, so I don't think I want to worry about it. But that may be, well, I don't get it for person at all, people. And then we've got an initializer. Yeah, that does seem like a weird message to me. This one maybe, you know, ID doesn't like that. And we may have to figure out what we want for that. Okay. But we're running. If we open, we haven't changed anything and broken anything. Okay. So let's take that, move save and open over to persistence.swift. I changed my settings. I have a little more high contrast look to things. I haven't quite decided if I prefer it enough to keep it or not, but the gray on gray is just a little too popular. Okay. All right. And then Refactor I out of ContentView. Yeah, I think we would say we've done that. Oh, this is... Oh, what did I do? Yeah, I did do this offline. We fixed all the previews that had SwiftData references still because we got rid of SwiftData, so there was no point in having that. All right, but this, whoops. Okay. So what I'm thinking, well, let's try this and just see if we can even do it this way. But what I'm thinking is that I would even pull these codables out completely and move them over to persistence, with the thought, kind of saying this alteration or this declaration is really a function of persistence. We don't need it for our internal use, so why would it be explicitly part of this? Now, that seems like it's happy, but I hate having these warnings. Especially this one, which I don't see anything I can do about. All right, but that did work. Okay, now let's pull it over and maybe into persistence. Month, year. Not sure what the coding standard's going to require here. Month, year, month, year, month, year. Okay. People. Extension outside of file declaring struct month year prevents automatic synthesis. Okay. I'm not one to fight that one. In principle, I don't like it, but I'm not going to alter everything just to make that possible. That must be what it is, but well, this is not a let though in people, is it? It's a var. So I don't understand why this one is a problem. The plan I can understand because it could be like, well, I can't, if I rehydrate, I'm going to create a new UUID on that thing, so it won't be the same object anymore, which could be problematic for us. So we're going to have to see what we want to do with that. Yeah, but yeah, I still don't see why this people gets a complaint. Maybe it references, well, what's in person? Maybe person is the problem. Yeah, maybe it's just an indirect complaint. Okay, well, that's a good one to think about. All right, we won't do that. I'm going to save incrementally. I don't know, maybe we should fix this. I mean, I can give the extra argument. I don't know, it sounds better at the end. What is his type? Is it UUID or some other? Okay. I don't know. This reads better to me to match these, but I don't want that argument first. Maybe I should, just to be consistently consistent. But it's optional, so that's kind of okay. All right, let's build that. See if we get rid of our complaint. Oh, I won't until I do this. Yeah. Did that build? How did that clean up both messages? That doesn't seem right. And I don't think we had that message. I don't know. Okay. Well, maybe the build is not full build. It's probably just doing incremental. No? Okay. Well, we solved that one. Let's do an open. Okay. Oops. And the reason I want to make sure that's right is because right now it's a little ambiguous. Like our like you can say this end date for this income stream corresponds to the death date of this other person. And right now I don't even remember how we're putting in that person, if it's their ID or it's the person itself. That's a date specifier. Oh, we don't use it there. Okay, we did remove that. So we pull the date from that person. Oh no, we haven't allowed that. Okay, that's why. All right, so one of my things I would like to do is say this this income stream stops when this person dies. So pensions, you often have, you have the, well, you have the option usually. So if I've worked at so many years, I have a pension, I can choose my payout. Do I want it to be my lifetime, or I can choose the lifetime of myself and my spouse. If I choose the second one, I get a lower payout. So people will choose my lifetime, and then they'll trust that they'll live long enough to make it worth the extra money. And you hear horror stories sometimes of somebody who chose, my lifetime, and then they die a month or two after they've retired and their spouse is there with nothing. So, but anyway, it's an option. And the same thing when Social Security, if the higher earning spouse dies, then obviously they don't collect any more themselves, but also the surviving spouse switches to a different amount depending on stuff. Okay, I changed it to be the name for SwiftData. Okay, maybe so. Is that, oh yeah, maybe, yeah, that's just the name. So you see, there's kind of a weakness there, right? Because we're trying to depend on the age of this person, even if it's, we haven't even dealt with dying, but, just the age of this person. And, including, like, do we want to just include their name? Well, how do we relate that to the person then? If we go in and change, oh, they weren't born in 57, they were born in 56, we would have already locked this stuff in, so we don't have that relationship. I think it's a weakness we've had. I don't think it's any new thing, although using the name, really to use that, we should be validating that at the point where they're trying to do it, because, what if they change the name, how would you know it was them? Okay. So UUID is kind of this sticky thing. Let me just make a little note. It's not it probably affects persistence at some level, but how do we tie plans with a date spec using a person to that person? Okay. And that's kind of an issue for persistence. It's an issue for editing. It's an issue for, just dealing with changes and stuff. I guess that's editing. All right. Okay. So our notion was, what if we save after each change and read the file once when it opens? And I don't know, these are kind of the same. And then the other question was error handling on I/O. UUID be better than the name. Yeah, I think you're right. Because at least then we could say, oh, I'll do a lookup on the person, the person list, and if I don't find them, then I've got this plan entry that is depending on a person who's no longer there. At least I can detect it and warn about it. So yeah, I'll leave that note in too. Link to UUID of person. And check when using. Okay, because just linking to the UUID won't be enough, because if the person's no longer there, well, I guess we're still referencing. No, I guess we're not. But we have some work to do. All right. So let's see. I guess the two things, one's kind of this thing about saving, and the other is the error handling. And so I think I want to get the error handling right, because if we make mistakes in doing the rest of it, it'd be nice to have the error caught and properly dealt with. All right. So this was our debugging code to make sure we knew where to find the simulator with these documents in there. Yeah, make a backup before saving. Yeah, let's put a note for that too. I'm not sure what you can do about it. I mean, the user doesn't really have direct access to this directory on the iPhone anyway. I guess you probably do on your Mac, but on the iPhone, these files are created and owned by your app. And, when it asks you when you're deleting something, we want to get rid of these files. Well, those are the files that are getting deleted, among other things. But if we do backup, we probably, well, I think we'll have to look at how this works, because I think this is maybe giving us that property. I mean, this is something about it's being done atomically, so it's no other thread can do it. But I think maybe complete file protection might make sure, if it fails, it won't overwrite until it fails. If that's the case, then we're better off. Okay, so anyway, let's delete this. Have I described what we're doing? No, I haven't. Let's do this. Okay, so we've got our directory. We encode, we get the data, and then we write. Okay, I don't know if open or save is first. Okay. But these, I don't know what we should do here. I mean, just dying with fatal error is kind of rude. We could at least pop up a dialog that says, like, we can't load your file. Or we can't decode your file. The message is more programmery. All right. Well, what I want to do here is make this throws and then see who breaks, which is probably just ContentView. Okay, so we'll Well, I think this means we have to have a try catch. I'll put it here for now. Oh yeah. Do catch. And then I don't remember, do we have, this message is back. Okay, sorry. Do we have, you used to have alert that you could just bring it up, but I think now you maybe have to do a new view. I have to check. Thought I had a, let's put this over here. Yeah, we got to do this now. Okay. So we'll need state in here. Well, this is getting kind of big. Is that on the view? It's a new case. guess that's the title that's presented in the contents. Not sure the good way to phrase that. Maybe I need to be more specific. Show save alert. Okay. Error storing. And then he puts a dismiss button. I guess we can live with that. Atomic rights. Oh, good. Okay. So maybe we can live with that. Atomic. Then it must be partial rights that, or the other one that keeps the other threads that we don't have from writing to it. Okay. Error saving. We were unable to. Is that enough? Do we get anything? I don't know if we get anything from. Can we get any information from here? I mean, we have error.localized description. I guess those are supposed to be. Okay, making backup is superfluous. Okay, good. I mean, that's kind of my preference. If it fails, it fails. All right. Okay, so here we got error.localized description. Yeah, I think we're going to have to. And this is theoretically pretty rare. I can't use error here. I guess I'm going to have to save it up here. Save error of error optional. I don't know if I can do this. Save. Okay. And then I'm going to make a manual test here. This no longer needs the try catch. Okay, but in this case, I'm just going to make it throw an error. Can I add to it? Any error cannot be constructed. Do I have any default errors? Or do I have to make my own? Nope. Yeah, this is not good. I mean, I suppose I can, do my own enum. Oh no, is this going to be... I guess I just have not done a lot of error stuff in Swift. Deal with it, but never cause them. You can throw them, but you can also... Well, they do a lot of enums for it. Okay, well, let's make this go. Wait, how does an error get a localized description? Maybe that's... I don't know, this is weird to me. Okay, well, I guess I will catch the particular error. No error. Oh, think so? Well, let's try it as that. Yeah, I mean this kind of thing I've definitely seen a lot. But maybe this do catch is the way to go. I don't know if that's enough. Okay, well let's I think you're just not trying. Oh, errors. I guess I could lose that. It's not file. I don't know. I don't think that's going to help me. Catch. Oh, I got to do the individual. I think I'm not doing that right. Okay, let's make this back to error. Handle it down here. Down here. Okay, switch. Oh boy. This one, what's the void? I guess maybe I'll do this for spacing. Okay. Save error is not nil. Choose that error. If it's IO error, print the message. Otherwise, we don't know what's going on. this is just sort of a fall through. Okay. Test this manually. All right, that was on save. So save should crash. We were unable to store your information. So this is not part of that, really. I guess we're saying we want the right message in the message. Okay. Oh man, I bumped VM. Okay. I think just saying this message itself is probably adequate. Can I? Yeah. Don't like communicate. Oh, it does. Okay. All right. I suppose I can run that. Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing any standard exceptions used in Swift. Everywhere I've seen it, it's been like create your own little case statement and do it. If you need any IO error, you can use cases IO error. But yeah, I think I'm willing to fall out. Yeah, I don't know if I should break out like a save error and a open error, and they each just have one possibility. This is sort of like some other totally other error comes out, which I guess maybe we could do that as well. I think I can just maybe say throw error. Or is he going to say you don't have an instance? Throw an expression any error type does not conform to error. That's still bad. Yeah, any error cannot be constructed. Okay, so I think at least for now we're okay. The message we're going to get is whatever happens with this thing. It's going to be the system message, which, I mean, is pretty dire at that point. Like, what will cause this? I guess running out of space on your phone. I'm not sure what else would. I suppose memory going bad on your phone. Does that happen with iPhone memory? Okay, but anyway, that should get an error message, and it'll get whatever the system comes up with. You kind of can't do much. I mean, for do catch use case in ContentView. Yeah. If you need IO error. No, I think it's it really is the save error is the one we want here. So maybe this is save error dot save. Let's take that approach. I think the error you get from one or the other is not. Well, no, wait a minute. I guess the error I'm getting is just the system error, right? So, well, I don't need any of this. At least for this case. We know it's happening in a save from the fact that the show save alert happened. So there is no message. So that should do it. Yeah, thanks for keeping on this. Okay, so now we're saying the error that comes out is going to be some system error, presumably out of space. I don't know what else could. Now this, I don't think you can get here without this being valid. So I guess that's probably a little bit of defensive programming. But I think I'll leave it. I mean, if there's nothing else you can do, there's nothing else you can do. Okay. Yeah. All right. So persistence, this is, well, even that, I don't know how to trigger it. Oh, let's save error instead. Yeah, that could be better. Yeah, you're right. That's a better way. Yeah, thank you. All right. So that shows that error on save. Okay. Let's commit this. So error handling for persistence.save. All right, now open. The thing here is we got some clue. I guess we have 2 tries here as well. So it could happen. I guess the encoding could be a problem. That can definitely happen from things I do wrong. I mean, we're using all standard stuff, but if we someday replaced one of the standard ones with our own, then we could screw something up. And I think we just get a message that says we can't encode the data. Now this one, oh, maybe we don't need to do this stuff. We just try. So let's make this throws. It goes here, right? Now if this fails, like what should come back? All right, so it'll set the flag true, it'll assign the error, and then the dialog will come up and show the error. And I guess it'll continue. Well, no, it won't. This routine has failed, so it won't. It'll be as if they never did the open. Okay. I guess I can live with that. All right, now, so we're getting the one side right first. So the content view side should be complaining about nobody catching that. Yep. Okay. And then we will do the same kind of thing. Show open alert and open error. Now I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so this should be try. Sorry, do. catch. All right, and just like our save, we're going to set these two flags or values. And I don't know, just superstitious maybe. I don't want to say the alert is true until I'm prepared to show the error, but it won't do anything until we return, but just kind of keep that open. All right, this is a try. And this is a try. Now, maybe I shouldn't put them in the same deal. This is open here. Okay. I would expect so. I think when um, we should be sure to handle that. I think well, I'm not sure if we should do it with this or an actual function to test the existence of that thing. But if there's nothing there, we probably shouldn't do an open. We should just leave it empty as it is, because there'll be no open button at that point. But while we have it, I think we'll live with this. Now, can we make this fail? Well, I guess the real thing is it won't fail. Hopefully, it won't fail now before we're doing anything. Yeah, okay. But this is iPad 10th generation. I think I might have another one lying around. We'll switch to this one that simulator I haven't run, I don't think. It'll take a minute. Right. So I think I'm sort of optimizing this case for something that's not going to happen in the long run, because what we're going to do is say if it doesn't open, then we just start with what we have. So we shouldn't really report an error. But while we have the open save buttons, I want it to be correct. What are you doing? Stalling? I don't know how long that will take. Okay, well, let's let that run a few minutes while it's doing it. What'll happen now? I think now we'll get a fatal error and die. The app will die. So I think this should just become loaded equals try decoder, no question mark, and no else clause. Because if it fails, it should just throw the exception it wants to throw. Okay. Retrying, launching. All right, let me go back here and we'll contemplate our next step. Okay, I think we have at least sort of demonstrated it. Well, no, we'll get it. We'll do the tries without catching it and making a fatal error in a minute here. Okay, if it starts running on M2, well, where is it? Okay, so open, I believe, will just die. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so now we got the catch in place, but we don't actually throw. So we're going to make that let data equal try that. Okay, and then let loaded equal try that. And return loaded. Okay. And we'll run this again on the same one without a file found. We click open. We should get an error message reported to us that there is no file yet. Probably the first one is doing it. People.save couldn't be open because there's no such file. Not the best message. Wait a minute. Couldn't be open. Okay. I thought it said saved. I guess it's the file name. People could not be open because there's no such file. Yeah. I think that's okay. With the existence of this button, that's okay. And well, either by today or tomorrow, then it won't be an issue because these buttons won't be here. And we'll catch that error explicitly. Okay, and just basically ignore it if they do an open and there's nothing to open. Okay. Right. Okay, so I think we demonstrating we're seeing that. Okay, so add error handling for persistence.open. Okay. Now, this does get to something. So even once we switch over to the incremental approach where you make a change, you add a new person and we're going to call person.save, that should detect the error in saving. And so those will have to be wrapped with some sort of handler. And the trigger for them, right, there's some sort of high level, I mean, they're making this, they're clicking the plus sign or whatever it is they're doing. There's a chance to catch that and deal with it. Okay. So read the file and open and save after each change. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little weird. We're going to have to burn through simulators, I guess. We could give ourselves a button to clear it. We've done stuff like that before. Maybe that's worth doing. Okay, so yeah, I think our scheme is read the file and open at apps opening, save to file after each change. Okay, and that's handling. There's no worry about close, it's just open. Okay, is IO manual, save incrementally? Yeah, we want to save incrementally. Okay. And then these, oops, these can be two separate bullets, really. Okay, so no, it's I changed. There's an accessibility setting that says I don't want low contrast. I want better contrast. And so all these lines that used to be they used to be real light gray marker lines. They're all solid now. I may change it back. I don't know. It's someone said it's like OS 7 or Mac OS 7, back several generations. But I'm trying it because I don't know. I don't particularly like gray on gray and gray on white for text and stuff like that. Like if you noticed our save button, right, when it had the error, it had this very light text, oh, trouble opening, blah, 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 that to me just is not great looking. And I find it hard to read. I don't think it's not impossible for me. I'm sure it is, people who have real contrast issues, even worse. But just in general, I don't find it very easy to read gray on gray. And yet our app still showed that way. So I don't know what that says. I guess I'd have to go in and set contrast on this too. I don't know. Can I do that? Isn't there a search? There it is. Increase contrast. Yeah, I think I did the equivalent of this. Okay. Now I wish I was displaying my stuff. Okay, so let's see if this looks different. Save. Yeah, they're not dying, so I'm not going to trigger it unless I muck with it, which I'm going to do. So that should mess up open. Yeah, definitely looks different. I think they probably could have used a little less lines for things, but maybe it just looks so good in gray. Okay, so open should blow up. Yeah, no, it didn't really do that, right? It's still very low contrast and kind of a small font to my eye, but I mean, I wear glasses, they're bifocals, so, it's kind of, I've got some of these issues, I suppose. Okay. All right. So have I made any changes now? To do. Okay. Right. So let's deal with a lifecycle thing to attempt to read the file, and if it doesn't work, we're okay. On the assumption that if we saved it when we were supposed to, if they had opened it before, we'd have saved it when they were supposed to, and we'd actually open that. And if we don't find anything, well, we must be a new instance. All right. So I don't really know my life cycle stuff. Is there a hook in the app? Yeah, I guess so. Percent encoded. Okay. Oh, well, that's interesting enough, but okay. So I guess we're going to try to do what we do on open. Well, let's just take this whole body, modify that. Okay, so Fiume app. So if we try to open our file, add all the people, try and open our plans, remove all the old plans and add the new one. And then this, we really want to ignore open failures. I don't really use a lot of comments. Well, implies no file, implies first open, use empty lists, use empty. Kind of a chain. Gray backgrounds, now it's white. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I may turn it off, like I said. All right. This is in our init, and this says open it no matter what. And you still have the button because we haven't taken it out yet. But I think if I put it back to this one, where we have saved it, before, when we opened it, well, when we first opened it, it was empty with a line at 0. And then we click open and we get this. And now, yeah, so if I close this, oops, and run it before we haven't run it before, we're back to this. I click open, I get that line because we have a salary in there. If I rerun this simulator, with this code in place, we'll do that. 10th generation. Okay, yeah, let's run again. Now it should open with that line in place, and we'll be happy. Oops, or something else. Build failed. Cannot find plans. Well, I guess ContentView must have them and the app does not. Okay, so if this fails, we don't remove everything. We just start with empty. Okay. And now's ContentView. Init wrapped value is unavailable, must be conform to observable. No, that's not really. Can I use mutating member? Findable. Okay, do I have to wrap this in a... Really? It's funny, so many examples have this style. So this is the analog to people, I guess. So we're going to make a plans. And he's going to be kind of like this. Not really, but it's codable. And this is plans, array of plan. Well, let's try. I don't think we'll need that. I think we'll have to do append. I don't know. Do we need a count? We could be using one. We could be using this too. Okay, so now content view. Let's put this in use. Okay, good. And then Fiume app needs to be empty plans. And then I think I want to make these separate. Just so we can wrap them. I guess I could have done that later, but I want to wrap them. And then if you have people but not plans, that should not be an issue. You should accept the people you have. All right, a little bit. Okay, let's build. Possibilities. He really just wants an array of plans. This may be, well, we may come back to it. Let's put it that way. Whoops. Well, I did run. Okay. I think there's still something. Yeah. self.plans. Goodness. Wow, sorry. I don't think we've done anything that affects tests, but we do need to run those too. Okay, so that's building, it's running. He should open with our diagonal line. That's not a good sign. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's run it again. This shouldn't be slow. Okay, yeah, that's acceptable. All right. So notice we're introducing an object. Really, this is, I guess it's not persistence per se, but we have to do it because the way the interaction between the app and the view, and we want the app to own the state, and it's not happy passing plans array as an observable thing. So we had to wrap this type too. Okay, and then we'll clean that up a little bit. Plans, so it does not need this. Apparently does not need that. I'm kind of surprised. Well, I guess the iteration's happening off the plans array in possibilities. Should that be? Well, he kind of does need to know that array. Okay. I did some code cleanup. Okay. And then, well, let's check that in. But we have no reason to have an open button now because it just opens whatever was last saved. Eventually we'll get rid of the save as well, but for now, open. Button open goes away, including all this. These fields go away. the alert goes away. I was surprised I don't need the iterate. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's true. At some point, we need to convert it to an array of plan for some stuff we're doing, but we might not have to. It's the problem I have is this ambiguity that I kind of want multiple sections. I really want a section that says like baseline, and that's where you put like, I've got $50 million in my 401k. I don't. But if you have that as sort of an initial condition, then that would be in the baseline section. Then I want a plan section that says, I'm going to retire. I'm going to start taking Social Security at 70. And that's kind of a decision I've made. And then I want a more blue sky or scenario section where I change stuff around. But so far, we just have the one section. So I may have over-engineered something. And also there's a little ambiguity because the array of things acts an awful lot like what we called a group, which is a list of things you must have. So I may want to resolve all that at some point. I think if we tackle multiple sections, we'll come back on that part of the decision. All right, so I removed the open button. Okay, so refile at app opening. All right, and I think this is probably as good a time as any to take our break. So we'll take a 3 or 4 minute break, and then we'll come back and figure out how we capture each change and write a file change after that. And I really do want to make the file change, the file persistence, not something that happens right there, but something where it comes out of that change and then decides it should write some IO. So we'll do that. All right, see you in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. I just made a small change here. This was saying assign the try decoder to something and then return it. So I just made that. I will just run this once and make sure there's no real issue, but it should be okay. I don't know why I'm compelled to touch things. All right. Inline the variable. Okay, so at this point we've dealt with the open. When you start the app, we open the person and plans folders or files. If they exist, we use them. If they don't exist, we just have the default stuff we start with, and that stays in place. Now we want to make sure we can save after each change, and I want to. I'm not so sure about this. So one of the notions is, I forget, James Shore has a pattern name for this, but A-frame, I think he calls it, A-frame architecture. Basically, you have one piece that changes the model, and then you have the second piece that's the I/O part that reflects it. And so your model is very decoupled from your view, but we change things in so many places, and I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I mean, I think we're probably going to have, could we have a did change on the observables? Well, I don't know. Because the thing is, we need to do it at certain points, right? Either one, I don't remember either which one it should be, but just because you might be changing a person and a plan or something like that, right? So you kind of have to wait till the one gets done like I think we don't do it now, but we talked about saving the UUID of a person in the value field, the date specifier field, and I can believe you might affect both. And if you delete a person, right, that should do something somewhere. Somebody should detect that. Is it a runtime thing, or do we detect it in our plans? I'm not sure, but it may require coordinating between them to do stuff, I guess, in general. But I think in some sense, I'm just going to have to go through everywhere. The charting is automatic, so that half is okay. The people, we have a people view somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Showing creation. Create a person view. Yeah, like create person view. At some point, they click this button that says create. And the person and the people.add and that, like that's sort of the A-frame where this is the logic stuff. And, you know, we could inline this and kind of make a one-liner out of it. And then we want to say, okay, persist. You know, that well, certainly we need to update the person table when we create a person. That doesn't really change our plan, so we could just do the person. But this is the point. Like this is that little A-frame. I think of a little Swiss chalet, you know. It's got one side and the other side. We've done one side. We haven't dealt with the persistent side. And so in effect, we had to find every place like this and impose a persistence change on it. Now, how many of these are there, right? I mean, I guess if you do people, you do this, you create, and you've made one. If you do a plan and you create, you've made one. We don't do editing, so that part's easy, but I think create again. I guess that's the two places at this point. Does Swift have a message queue? Well, it has about 5 different kinds. Yeah, so you could use one of those and say schedule a persistence. Yeah, and I think also so I think what you're getting at, and maybe it is right to pursue that, like if if this thing somehow triggers, changes something, whatever it does, it should trigger. We could do things at the top level and trigger the other side of the update. And I think that's what we want. I think that's good. Better than going through every place and doing it would be to do the did change. I guess I'm going back to your previous suggestion. Right? It's like did change? I thought it was on change of something. Okay, and this is where I think our objects could keep track of that for us, and I'm willing to do that much. So if somebody calls, well, let's get person up, people up here. People.swift. Okay. I would be happy enough to say there's a flag. Now, does it belong here? But at any rate, I could see having a flag that says, hey, you added that changed people. You should flag this. Yeah, basically a dirty flag. And the IO persistent side is going to clean it. So you do your person.add or people.add. It sets this flag on the people object that says I was changed. And then at ContentView, we detect that change and we say, oh, you were changed. Okay, let's write you out and mark you as unchanged again. Okay, because now what's on disk reflects what you have. So I think I want to do that. All right, well, let's start with people. And also, I guess I want to think in terms of where we are. Now we open the last saved thing automatically, but you still have to manually save before you close it. That's what we're getting rid of. But I want to keep that working until everything else works. Okay, so let's get to people. People. Do I have one of them? I don't think I do. Okay, sounds a little weird. Some people I think I had. No. Okay, well, let's add it. I know John's updated this and I haven't caught up to it yet, but some people. Okay, it's in the tests. All right. And we're going to use our new testing style, which is more like this. I guess I shouldn't use this package for this. It is not what we want. Struct some people. Oh, I'm mucking up this. That's not good. Import testing. We don't tag this main actor. We want a struct. We don't. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting much there. Some people. Okay, and then this. Well, it's our test. Okay, so I guess what I want to check is if you call people.add, then the dirty flag gets set and the person ends up in there. We don't even have a way to ask contains. I guess we can turn it back into a list of things. Okay, some people. Track changes. Okay. So we're going to create a new people object. And I don't know, I'm going to say require because if this blows up, the test ought to just fail. People dot was changed is, I guess if I'm going to say equals false, I can just do that. Okay. Is that require or expect? I think it probably is expect. It's one of these, I mean, normally my shtick even is arrange, act, and assert. But there are cases where I just want to make sure things are what they expect. So let's just make that a separate test. I don't want to be starts unchanged. Okay, that's true enough. And this flag isn't there, so it's going to complain. So this is another nudge from the persistent side. We're doing stuff that's for the benefit of it. It's okay in a sense. Like I could keep track of the original people array or object and then compare it to the current people object. And if it's different, then I know I've changed something. Why aren't you complaining? You know, if it's different, I know I've changed something, and I could compute it from that, which is kind of what views do. On the other hand, I can just give it a flag for this. So slow. I don't know if that's because I put a new class in. Okay, I'm going to start typing. I hate waiting. Changes when someone added. Maybe when person is added. And I don't really need the rows. Okay. Okay. People was changed. All right. Var was changed of bool. Well, starts false. Autosave function could check all watched objects and save all that have changed. Yeah, I think so. And there's only two right now. Everything else is derived from plans or people. Okay, good. I don't know why this is not caught up, but that's okay. All right, so we'll add a person. Good old Buck. Birth. Dot. Month year. Oh, it's an actual month year. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure we keep that either. All right, and now Okay, nothing's using this really, it's just checking it. Okay, so add dirty flag was changed to people. All right, and then let's go to content view. And what I remember is, I guess you don't have to have an argument. I think you can have 0, but 1 used to be just the new value, and now it's like old and new or something. But we don't need that, okay? Because we want the save action to basically happen here. And we don't have plans, nothing with plans yet. So if people was changed, has changed, then we save it. And if there's an error, we show a message. Okay. I think this, yeah, that's going to have to be done. We'll do that manually. I hate saying we'll do it manually, but it's just really painful to set up those Swift UI tests or Swift UI, UI tests. Okay, so we'll add somebody. All right, Ruth, born in 70. That one doesn't go far enough. October 70. Okay, good. Okay, and so if we open people again, that's there. All right, now I'm going to close this. We're going to run this again, and it should open with Ruth already created. All right, but let's check the people. Oh no. That does not appear to have worked. Okay, so when is this called? I mean, it's supposed to be, I don't know if getting that field is the problem. All right, well, let's break here. I guess I didn't have to rerun. Oh well. Okay, so I do people. I will add Ruth again. Born in 93. All right, she's on the list. Okay, that should have theoretically saved. It should have theoretically stopped here, and it did not. Okay. Yeah, I knew he was updating it. I just haven't pulled it yet. Maybe we'll do that if we finish this in in a timely manner here, or I may do that offline. I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, so this did not trigger. People is bindable. I'm not sure how to search for this. On change of field is not detected. Change of message type. Change message type to a binding var instead of a state var. Yes, that makes sense for that one. What's ours? We are bindable. Does it have to be published? Well, it's not supposed to, because there's no published anymore on observable. Observable object, you had to say published, but these things, they're supposed to just automatically update. Now, I don't know where you... He's a var. But run a code when some state changes. Can't use property observers like did set with something like state. Okay, that's good to know. One change accepts one parameter. Okay. And I don't know that. Let me put bindable in here. Changing text binding doesn't affect binding that's passed the text field. Set block is only triggered one. Yeah, it's sort of the same. I mean, what's supposed to happen is this is a macro. It goes through and parses your file and kind of works out, which things are there, and then somewhere else they somehow they check, and if a field's not used, if they see you never used was changed in a view, they won't bother setting up any of the mechanism for that publishing stuff. But they see people was changed, so they do have a thing for that. I don't know why this is not triggering. But I think this is kind of new enough that, I mean, the bindable, that I don't know if we're really getting there. I do have another variation, right? We could initialize these things with a binding and then force them to track that for us, trigger that, or require them to trigger it. I know these things are clever, but they're just, I don't know. Binding bar config. Change state in another view. Not a observable object. Okay. Well, I'm almost thinking this is going to be kept somewhere else. Var was changed. Of binding a bool. And oh, decodable does not like that. Oh, what's the thing to mark a field? I don't really have to do my own, do I? Yeah, there it is. Codable ignored. Nope, that's theirs. Hmm. Okay, let me put that back. Was changed false. Is it enough to look at people? That's going to keep a people around and then diff it. Ugh. Okay, let's try another search. Swift. So this is on change for field of bindable object. Oh no. Well, this has things that, I mean, they rely on that. I don't think I. That's different. Nope. This is. That's what we looked at before. Okay. You might need to put published on the change. I don't think it's going to like published, but I will try. Bindable instead of binding on parameter that is changing inside a view. We have bindable on both these, right? Yeah. I could have sworn you could access stuff. And right, syntactically, it's not complaining. I don't want to give out UUIDs. I mean, if people were equatable, would that do it? Oh, I didn't set the flag. I think that might be relevant. I don't think I took it back out. Oh, am I just being totally bonkers? Did this test pass? I thought it did. Unfortunately, the test runner doesn't show you, because it's not integrated in with Swift testing yet. It doesn't know. It'll show you an error, but it won't show you that it ran. Yeah, 23 tests, but where is some people? Oh, you're right. Oh, if only I had John Reed's template, I would not have forgotten that. But thank you. did I do a run instead of a test? It looks like. This should be changed back to people was changed. Okay, yeah, that's what I want. That's better. Okay, now was changed is true. Okay, let's run. Now, since we're changing the flag, there's a chance that we'll actually stop when it comes through. Okay, I think currently we have nothing saved in the people. We didn't hit save, we only did our automatic one, so this should be empty. We'll add Ruth back in. She gets younger and younger. Yes. Okay. And let's continue. Close this. Close the app. Whoops. Close that. Close that. Rerun. Now we should have Ruth in the list. Yes. Okay. Good. All right. So make people determine was changed and use that in content. Well, top level view is really what counts to detect when to write. Okay. Let's do the same thing, only this time we want to make a plans, and I know we don't have a plans test. I'll just type it in. I think I'll make less mistake. Some plans. The test is practically the same as this. Well, it's actually almost all. Okay, some plans. Is part of module Fiume. I don't know why that happens sometimes. It has no method unchanged. Okay, when I guess we need to check both functions, right? Oh, some plans, right? And then plans.add append. Name is second job. Where's our money? Int. Okay. 200 first is dot unchanged. Unchanged. Okay. We don't. We should. I suppose it's it's kind of an optimization to do this, because otherwise it would just rewrite every time it got back in here. But you're right. We should mark that. Okay. Expect plans was changed. Not changed was changed. One plan is added. Okay. Plans. Starts out false. Okay, so the first test should pass, the second should fail. Building. Okay, good. That failed because we don't set it. Was changed. Changes when all plans removed. I don't think we even have to have anything in there. We just make sure. Should fail. And now should pass. And actually, I think we should change this to false. Yeah. Well, no, we should move this up, is what I'm trying to do. Okay. That can go. Okay, and then I think we need the equivalent. One change of plans. Because we know it's true at this point. We might modify that some more. Try save plans.saved with plans. Catch an error, show it, show it. Okay. Now what I think is I think if the plans was changed is false, then we shouldn't do this. So if not plans was changed. So setting it to false, back to false should not trigger this loop, and we'll just want to get out. Okay. So, oops. Sorry about that. All right. We are running. All right. So now this should load the diagonal line. It should load Ruth. I'm going to add. She's still there. I'm going to add job 2 with $250 a month. That should have saved. So, okay, he goes up a little faster. I'm going to close this app. I should see 2 of these and one person. Did I reset the change after save? I believe I did. Plans was changed equals false. So why did we not write? Plans. I mean, I think word saving was changed when we appended that to the plan. Let's make sure. Let's see who accesses this. Plans. Well, that possibilities should. Maybe. So it looks like we iterate over plans, but we're not changing them in there. That's what I'm worried about is that it well, but possibilities shouldn't care because that's all generating stuff. Well, the I think what would have been required was we would have had to have plans. If it had an equatable method, then it would save a whole copy of plans, which is it's not a giant, but it's a big enough array of stuff. It would have to save the old one, and then you'd make your changes, and it would have a new one, and it'd go compare equality on them. It just seems like a lot of kind of overhead for that. It's not impossible, and you might, maybe I should pursue the other approach because, I mean, I would expect, like, if you really laid out, well, I don't know what I would say for me. If I laid out, I've got my retirement accounts, I've got my normal accounts. My wife has hers from a couple, like she has a pension, a very small pension that's going to be coming from one of them, and whatever else stuff. It's multiple accounts and multiple things. Plus major expenses. I might see 50 things on the list. I don't know that I would go. I mean, I don't think I'll go 300. It's probably 50 to 100 if you really laid out stuff. Because, like Social Security with the options, you've got, 3 scenarios for you and 3 for your spouse, and, but maybe. Okay, but let's see if we can track what I'm missing here. So, plans. Oh, I was going content view. Let's look at the possibilities. But possibilities is reading plans, but it's not changing them. I mean, possibilities takes the set of streams and ands and ors and all that stuff and generates a list of plans with no decisions in them. But it does not change the plans array to do that. It's generating possibilities, not plans. So I'm a little puzzled. I might just track it as it goes through. And then in content view, well, maybe I should, let's close this. Okay, so I should be able to get both these mostly on here. On change of people.was change, plans.was change, plans.was change return, reset it, try a save, and show errors and alerts. Okay. The plans and possibilities is an array. Yeah, it's not even calling plans append. It's calling I think it's possibilities append actually. Let's see what he has. No, he has those, but what people get, they ask for scenarios. Now, I think these don't get called, but maybe I'm test call them. Okay, I think that these are outdated here. Yeah, okay. Let me add to do, remove add from possibilities. Okay, and then I want to stop here. All right, let me run. I really have to start thinking about, can I just continue from where I'm at? All right, so it should open up one thing. Oh. Okay, this is not a 1 minute fix. Huh. So plans append is getting called way early in our app init. We create the initial one, and so it's going to say, oh, you changed your plans. Let me write an empty thing in there, or practically empty. Do I want to say this did not change anything? We open plans. Was changed. I am not going to do this in 1 minute. All right, but the issue is we just opened it here, and now maybe this should be saving plans.self. Okay. But because we just opened the file and now we're appending, we mark it as changed, and then we come out and we say, oh, you changed it. We should write a new one. And it's not empty is the problem. Okay. But okay. So, opening plans currently creates, appends a new plan. A new plan interacts with persistence. Okay, so I think we'll claim the win of one, getting the people right, but I'm not sure they're right under the circumstances either. Let's see, what's content view? Sorry, this. Okay, so Fiume new people does people.add. So something's funny. Okay. Maybe init for plans doesn't mark it as change. Yeah, I think maybe we need to do something on that line. Thanks for speaking up. Don't tickle. I was going to say Don T tickle, but I think it's don't tickle. Welcome. All right. Yeah, so the idea is make an init that doesn't change. Okay, I'll leave that as a question mark. And that's where we'll pick up tomorrow, 2 to 4:30 Eastern Time or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. And I'm pretty confident we'll knock off the rest of this. We'll figure out what's going on with that and get persistence basically done. I think we're making good progress here. All right. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. And yeah, maybe set changed. We'll consider some possibilities tomorrow and pick up from there. So take care. Good night.